So my name is Luisa and I'm originally from Brazil. I was born in Rio and I lived there up to the 90s when I came to the US and I came to study and decided to make it my home and became an American citizen too. So that's my geographic journey. It's from Brazil to the US and I live in Florida now, in Tampa, Florida. So it's very tropical here too. It's kind of a lifelong story. I mean, my mother was a teacher, and in Brazil I was about 7 years old, and I asked her, I want to learn English. I was fascinated with that idea, and I fell in love with the language, with the culture. So it was kind of a natural progression. I started actually translating, being a translator after college. And from then on, it was a natural progression to teach. And I just love doing that. I love tutoring. Here is tutoring, but there they call it teaching. But anyway,
Mhm.
I love that idea to be one-on-one or in small groups and help people communicate. And that started early on. I had, on and off times in my life where I did other things. Over 50. So a lot of things happen in life. You become a mother and, I moved. So a lot has happened, but teaching has always been something that I came back and forth to because I love doing it. They come from usually because I have the Brazilian connection. It a lot happens there with the people who speak Portuguese. But they're varied. I've always worked with variety of people, but in terms of English, because I also tutor Portuguese for Americans. So in terms of the English itself, it's mostly so far uh, Brazilians and people who speak Portuguese. So this has kind of been a comeback for me because, like I said, I was for some time away from that. So I'm coming back to it now. The pandemic kind of put me into that online mindset that's now necessary. So I said, okay, you know what? I should go back to teaching and use that online platform to be my office. So, I've been just keeping my social media, and my website is a source of leads and things like that. And in these tutoring platforms, I advertise myself. So there's a way to capture, but it's kind of a new thing for me. I've started doing that very recently. So let's see how it goes. And I'm open to even work with schools too. I'm just, putting my feet in the water slowly and testing the waters to see how it's going to be. But I love it. I love doing it. It's flexible and it's very convenient for everybody these days. I mean, I work with adults mostly. I my most 90% of my experience has been with adults, and adults are busy. They have their work, they have their lives to take care of. So being online is very practical for them. So that's the best aspect of it. And like I said, with COVID and everything else, it was something that more and more people started doing, and it just made make sense in terms of not having to commute, not having to, get in a car to go somewhere. It's just very, very easy for them and for me too. It's funny because coaching and teaching have differences, of course, in the way you do things, but they have some very interesting similarities, which is actually, I love helping people communicate. So that could be in a language aspect, helping them with expression, or personal personal goals and personal issues that they want to talk about and be better at communicating with their loved ones. So coaching, the basics of coaching is really asking powerful questions. So the person can have the insights and awareness to correct their course or change a habit or something like that. And I like that concept into teaching too, because if you give the student everything ready, they're not really doing the process and they're not feeling proud of themselves. So the powerful questions work in that way too. So it's kind of a connection that these two businesses have for me, and the fact that both require patience and empathy, and I believe that's very true for both coaching and teaching. So it kind of brings together for me, for my personality. I started last year. I think it was the second semester of last year, and I did a program, also a certification, uh, from a program that's approved by the International Coaching Federation. So I did, all my classes and all my training, and you learn by doing. They put you right away to start coaching and doing sample sessions for people like pro bono. So it was very, very good journey there too. And it kind of, because when I'm teaching, I like to look at the person too, not only the student, but you got to have that sensibility, and coaching has helped me with that too. So it was a good combination for me. It's again a varied. Most about closer to my age group. I'm in my 50s, so people who are either reinventing themselves and they worked for a long time doing one thing and then decided to go on their own, but were afraid of taking that leap. So I like to help people who are in some kind of transition and finding their own purpose. It's something that's really interesting with my clients. We always have fun. I think fun is a good, setting for everything. Take things lightly and be able to have a light environment. But what's really memorable to me is more like the quilt that I make, right? Each student or each client is a little patch of that quilt. And when they come to me and they're happy because they achieved something, like, I did start my business, you helped me, or somebody saying I was able to communicate, I traveled and I understood everything. So these moments are when they give me the feedback of our classes making a difference in their lives. That's the memorable part for me. That's the thing that I take away with me every time. For me, it was interesting because I did a lot of studying back then in Brazil, and I became a teacher and I had experience and everything else, but I stopped for a long time.
Mm.
So I felt like, I was rusty. I needed to go back into it, and I felt like there was a gap there that I needed to fill with more studying, going back to what the reality, if something changed. So I wanted to do that more as a recycling course for myself. So I wanted something comprehensive, which this course was, this certificate, 120 hours. I thought it was a good comprehensive, not just, a quick thing that you do easily. I wanted something really with substance, but at the same time, I already have the practice and the experience. So it was more learning and adapting to online world too, because I used to teach in person. So I got interested in being able to do that, to just recycling myself, and I thought the course was very good at that. It helped me a lot. Actually, it was great for me to review a lot of things on how to do a lot of things that you know I end up not when you stop, it's like a muscle, you don't exercise it, kind of you know the same thing. So I needed that activation again, and the course helped me with that a lot, and remembering a lot of things on how to do a lot of things. And specifically about online, I got so interested and I thought the course was so good that I actually enrolled, and I'm about to finish the online specialty course, which is tailored to people who are doing this online, and I'm enjoying that as well. Besides growing my business, of course, which is, in its infancy at this point again. um, I do want to pursue a master's degree. That's something. I have the bachelor's, so I want to go for my master's, and I believe that it's always time. It's never too late. So, like I said, I'm in my 50s, but I'm ready to tackle that in the future.